Are twin flames toxic, or can they be toxic? Very important video, so make sure you watch it till the end. Well, if you have seen some of my twin flame videos so far, you know where I stand with this. No, a twin flame is not toxic at all, because a twin flame is a divine counterpart. There's different kind of divine counterparts. I have videos on that, but what does the word divine mean to you? It means somebody who is maybe not completely awakened yet. Yeah, maybe they are on their way, but it is someone who is kind, gentle, knows who they are, and it's not toxic. So this is not, it's a complete mismatch, twin flame and toxic. What is painful in a twin flame connection, and by that I mean of course the split twin flame connections, because monadic twin flames, they don't have these issues, or they already have overcome these issues prior to meeting, at least the feminine. What is that painful is that we have our unhealed shadows. Let's say we are not in self-love. The other person cannot show us how amazing you are. They have to mirror to us that we are not in self-love. That's not on them. It's not their fault. It's not, you know, when I always say to my clients, imagine you eat unhealthy, you get acne, and then you have pimples in your face. It's not the fault of the mirror. You can get in front of the mirror and yell at the mirror. It won't change anything. It's not the responsibility of the mirror to show your pretty face when you indeed, yeah, because of your own unhealthy habits, developed acne. It's not up to the mirror to show you something else. And you can change the mirror. You can change the dude or the girl, and they will still show you unhealed shadows. There is no other possibility of that. So that is your stuff that needs to be addressed. So if you attracted somebody who is highly toxic, that shows you a lot about your own self-image. That shows you probably a lot about your childhood and your childhood trauma that has not been healed yet. And that's not your fault. But now that you're an adult, it's your responsibility to take care of that. It's your responsibility to change your diet to get clear skin. Nobody else can do that for you. It's your responsibility to change your mental diet, which is your thoughts, in order to attract different people or different reactions from people around you. It's entirely up to you. So yes, a divine counterpart is going to be somebody that you attract once you already are on this journey, and they will mirror that back to you. So what is painful, I already said it in a split twin connection, is that you have, for example, fear of abandonment. And then you meet them, and in the beginning it is amazing. Of course it has to be amazing, because you wouldn't open up if it wouldn't be amazing in the beginning, or if you wouldn't have some intense phase in the beginning. But it is important for your soul that you open up, that they can get close, because then only the triggering can start, and your soul wants that. So what is painful is, yeah, you've been abandoned, for example, and then they come and you cling to them, and you want them, you need them to be there, you need them, you have this need, but they don't fulfill that because they've got their own stuff, because they attracted you, because you trigger them, and they want to evolve as well. So what happens is they withdraw, and that is what can hurt like crazy. If you have fear of abandonment, you cannot attract somebody who is there. You have to attract somebody who mirrors that back to you, so they have to leave. Not up to them. It's not the fault of the mirror. It is your fears that manifested that. And I know many people don't want to hear it, but it's better to claim that responsibility, because if you claim this responsibility, like, oh yeah, I manifested that, then you can change that. If you're stuck in victim mentality and you're blaming the other person, first of all, you're not a divine feminine or masculine. You're still very much in distorted energy, because a divine energy would never ever 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 blame the other person, like, oh, they're doing this to me. They would be like, oh, wait a minute, everyone is me pushed out, or everybody is mirroring me. There must be something inside of me that created that version of them. So you change what's inside of you. And of course, if you, for example, I was talking about attachment style in other videos, if due to your childhood stuff you have an anxious attachment style, which means you may be very clingy. Clingy does not mean like you write them 10,000 texts a day. Clingy can also be you think about it all the time. When are they coming back? What are they doing? What's happening with them? They haven't called me in like 2 days. What's going on? Do they still like me? Did they meet somebody else? That is still this clingy and distorted energy, the distorted feminine energy. And if you have that energy within us, that wound that they did not create, they just came to trigger it. It was there before and they came to show you that it is there. You know, if you have that kind of wound, you most likely attract somebody with the avoidant attachment style, which means that probably something in their childhood happened, that maybe mom was overbearing and they learned that, oh my god, too much closeness, it can be scary because I didn't get any free time for myself, or every decision was made for me and I cannot deal with this, because if I let people too close then I get hurt and then I lose my identity because I always have to do what the other people want. Or maybe it was the opposite. Both can be the opposite. The anxious usually had somebody like a parent who was not there for them and that triggered that anxiety, but it could also be the opposite. They had somebody who was always there for them, and then they're an adult and all of a sudden they have to do their own stuff, and now they want somebody to take that parental role and they're anxious if that person withdraws. It can happen that way as well. So it can also happen with the avoidant person that they didn't have, like either they had maybe an overbearing parent or that parent was very distant, so that they're not used to somebody needing stuff from them or being clingy. And now when they attract somebody, when they're an adult and they want to start a relationship, and then they notice, oh my god, I cannot give that because I'm not used to that. It's triggering my trauma of not knowing how to handle that. So are they toxic because they have unhealed trauma? No. Would you say that you're toxic because of your unhealed trauma, because you want them to be there? No, you wouldn't. You just feel this pain and you want that pain to go away. But what many people don't realize is that the other person also feels some kind of pain or overburden when it comes to the emotions, and they don't know how to deal with that. And it is their trauma response, it's their coping mechanism to withdraw. A coping mechanism does not per se make the other person toxic, unless the coping mechanism would turn into some kind of violence. Yeah, that would be toxic if they're abusive in any way. But if they're withdrawing because they feel like you're overburdening, because you're too clingy, you're just not giving them any space, then they're not toxic if they're claiming that space. You know, maybe, you know, at the same time, if they're toxic, then you would be toxic too, because you have different needs. However, once you heal your stuff and you get into the center, you pull the other person into the center, because you are starting to transform your stuff. And remember, the universe can only give you what matches your inner energy, so law of attraction. And also when you heal your stuff, you also heal your mental space and you overcome, you forgive stuff from the past, which means you change your self-concept and also your assumptions, you know, law of assumption. So if you learn to have healthier thoughts, then that is getting mirrored back to you as well. If you're like in some kind of karmic cycle where there is toxicity, where they are abusive in some kind of way, maybe sexually, mental, physically abusive, then I'm sorry, it's not, no, I'm not sorry, it's actually good, it's not a divine counterpart. Don't put them on a pedestal, because there's so much stigma, and this is one of the reasons why I created this channel, to clear the stigma. So many people are in toxic relationships, in abusive relationships, and then they think like, just because maybe you have some Pluto connections in astrology, and karmic connections can feel very much like twin flame connections in this regard, because both are extremely intense. So if you have this extreme intense connection and you cannot get away from it, one another, many people unfortunately think, oh, this is a twin flame, when it's really not, when it's karmic. And then they put the other person on a pedestal, and then they go googling about twin flames and they're like, oh, twin flames are connected for forever. And then they're like, oh shoot, I'm connected to that person for forever. And that can create, it can manifest that you cannot get out of this connection, because you put so much focus on them, like, oh, I'm going to be stuck to that person, And that by itself is a manifestation, and then you're stuck in this karmic cycle and you cannot get out of it, because you're manifesting not being able to get out of it, and then you cannot get over it because you're not doing your shadow work, and then those cycles repeat either with this person, or if you manage to oppress your stuff and to detach from that person, you will attract the same thing in the next person, and then you're stuck in that karmic cycle. You will be stuck in that karmic cycle for the rest of your life if you don't do your shadow work. So your job is, if it's toxic, you see what's happening. If that person does not respect me, wait a moment, that does mean that I don't respect myself, my own needs. Maybe I always put everybody else first and I'm putting myself last. Or it means that I don't love myself, I don't treat myself well. How do you want to attract somebody who puts you on a pedestal if you don't put yourself on a pedestal? And by that I don't mean that we want to look down on others. That's what I always say. A true queen would never heighten herself by lessen others. That's little princess shit, you know. That's distorted energy. A queen, a true queen, she sees the queen in other women and she admires them. A queen of pentacles who's like very down to earth and, you know, has like this mothering, nurturing energy, may adore a queen of wands that has like this creative energy. And she may adore the queen of swords who has this really smart energy, and she may be like, oh my god, I am a fan of that woman because she is so smart and she is sassy and she knows how to talk. And then she may adore the queen of cups because she's so emotional and so open and in touch with her emotions, even though the queen of swords might see that in the queen of cups, even though she's different. And we can have more than one queen inside of us, by the way. But you see, a true queen, she is on a pedestal, yes, but she doesn't see other people as less. That would again be distorted energy. So if you think you're dealing with somebody who's toxic, then please consider, as I just said, what is the toxicity? Is it that they're not available and you want them to be available? Then that's not toxic. Then change your definition of being toxic. That's just basic mirroring. Everything is mirroring, yeah, but if they're toxic by running, then you're toxic clinging. So, you know, none of you is better than the other. It's just different sides of the spectrum. But if it's like toxic and abusive, honey, it's not a twin flame, it's not a divine counterpart. It is a karmic. It's something is not healed within you because you attracted that. And I'm saying it again. Don't think, oh, I would never attract that, I would never want that. Yes, your soul would want that because your soul wants to change. And if you claim responsibility, then you can change it. As long as you're stuck in victim mentality, I'm sorry, you will stay a victim. Because if you see yourself as a victim, you will just manifest and attract more people who victimize you. There's no other way. So step into your power, heal your stuff, stop labeling the other person as toxic or narcissistic or, you know, the stuff the distorted feminine would do. Don't do that. Claim your responsibility. Yes, I attracted that because I have something. If you attracted somebody who is ghosting you, that means that you have some wound of abandonment, probably because mom was not there. Either she was not there emotionally because she was not a very nice person. Maybe she was not there physically because you were separated, because one of you maybe had to go to the hospital, or you were giving away, or you got taken out from the family by the system because something was going on there. Or maybe she was not there because she had to work a lot. Maybe she was not there because you have a sibling that needed a lot of attention and she didn't have that time for you. Whatever it is, there must have been some fear of abandonment. Maybe she was that kind of mom who put you in a crib and said, oh, baby's gonna calm down and just let it scream. No, that kind of stuff, that kind of trauma can trigger the fear of abandonment. And then of course you will attract somebody who is mirroring that by ghosting you. Is it their fault? No, it's not their fault. You attracted them. How can it be their fault when you attracted them? And again, now you're an adult. It's not your fault either, but now it's your responsibility to work with your inner child to heal that wound. And then you can attract your union. But to sum it up, if it's toxic, it is not a twin flame. No, twin flames cannot be toxic. They will mirror your fears back to you, usually by ghosting. Or the other issue is if you're not in your self-love, then they will say stuff like, yeah, I just want to be friends, or just want to be friends with benefits, or no, I don't want you, no, I don't want to be with you. That kind of stuff. Is that toxic? No, that's just mirroring your fear of abandonment or your lack of self-love. Change that and they will change. They have to change. The other thing is, if they're not a divine counterpart, one thing that can happen is you clear that stuff and you step into the energy of attracting true love, but you have negative assumptions about them. Then the universe will read that and they will think, oh, you've cleared the self-love issue, you've cleared the fear of abandonment, you're now in the energy of attracting true love, but you don't think it's them, and we have to prove you right. Well, don't worry about it, because we got that guy over there and he's a perfect match for you and you will love him to death, and that's your forever person. If you have, at the same time, when you heal your inner stuff, you also healed your assumptions about that person, then the universe is like, oh, so you are in self-love now, congratulations, you've healed that lack of abandonment, you're trusting now, and you think it's that person. Okay, we have them coming, and then you attract union with that person, so it's up to you when they come back. And again, I feel it's so important, I say it again, if it's toxic, because there's abuse, physical, mental, sexual, not a twin flame. A divine counterpart would never, ever, 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 ever do that. It's not divine energy. Abusive energy unequals divine energy, and a twin flame is a divine counterpart connection. So no abuse. Mirroring, yes. Ghosting, probably. Showing you that you're not worthy of being in a relationship with them, yeah, if you have lack of self-love, but no abuse. Okay, no toxicity of that sort. I know I'm being very blunt, but it's just so important to me to get it through, and I am giving you some truth bombs, yes, but I'm saying it so blunt because I wanted to really get to you. I want to shake you. I want you to think about it, about what I just said. I want to kind of like trigger you as well. Yeah, I'm doing that on purpose. I'm triggering you a bit because I don't want this to be another video that you just click off and you forget right away. I want you to think about this stuff. Anyway, if you need my help, I am available for personal coaching. Check out my other videos and my other playlists. And I see you in another video. I see you in a personal coaching maybe. There are videos that are getting suggested to you right now. And yes, I do wish you all the best. Okay, now, bye-bye.